Okay, so today we have Morrissey and the Secret of Music, an 8-minute track here with a grabbing title, and I'm ready to get into that. But I do want to mention off the top that as people commented last week, I was featured again on Morrissey Central, and this time, a few of my videos there, In Your Lap, or reactions on my content. But yeah, In Your Lap, Good Looking Man About Town, and Neil Cassidy Drops Dead. My goodness gracious. So that was fun to see again. I mean, I don't know how many times that is now, but it's always nice to be featured, I guess. So anyway, so let's get into this. I mean, I got some goddamn jump in my step, so let's get going. Good Lord. Different?
Daytime in, I've lived through many Junes.
Vocal melody.
I am out of tune. The center hole is overgrown. I'm listening face down. Birds sound around like a sudden spell of bells or orchestrated swells. I am out of tune. Play the flute for love or loot. That's really up to you. How it clings like pinging strings of mandolins that pluck to your good luck. No trombone or glockenspiel could ever feel the way I feel tonight. that you should cry. Classical guitar, lover new, oh yes you are. Panpipes save a life. No angelic flute can hold a harping soul. Each song ends with a gong. Fat bassoon clears the room, but nothing now can take away my gloom. Triangle, fiddle, Stradivarius, I'd like to cause a fuss.
Why did that scare me? All right, there it is. Morrissey and The Secret of Music. So I took the pause there, and mostly just to gather my thoughts and just to listen to the song a little bit more again, over again. Just to, because again, 8 minutes long. And this is an experimental track, and very experimental for Morrissey, even though, again, this time being 2020 when he released this album, we've heard a lot of music. We heard different kinds of music and whatever, all sorts of stuff. But for Morrissey, I would say this is experimental. I would say this is modernized in a way as well, which I love. And he harkens back to many different influences, many different genres. I mean, for me, there's grinding guitars here. There's fuzzy guitars as well. I'm reminded of the 90s. I'm reminded of like industrial metal at points. I mean, I'm reminded of just the way the song starts off with I can't remember, it was like a screeching sound, and then we go into the booming, crashing drum, and as well there's like that. And I mentioned near the end of the track where it almost sounded like a boomerang or something, just a woo, 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 woo. And I don't know what, was it a pump of synth? I mean, I don't know what it was. I'm not, I guess, that proficient in talking about that stuff, but it was a nice sound. My goodness gracious, it was an integral sound in the song. It was commanding. The whole track was commanding. The track had such a groove. It was a hypnotic groove. It just kind of grabbed you. Like I said, the title was grabbing. The song was grabbing as well. And even still, I would say it was haunting at points, especially with the end. just saying boo boo, I guess it scared me because I just didn't expect it to finish off with that. I thought the vocals were done, and I just didn't expect to hear someone's voice say boo boo, and just I don't know why that kind of got me. But anyway, haunting there. But at the same point, for me, for some reason, there's still points of brightness here. Because the song is very dark and very methodical, I thought. And I always use the word methodical, but I feel like that word fits very well here. Especially for his vocal melody, especially for his slowness, and slowness on purpose. Where he almost sounds like he's biting his tongue on every line he delivers, and it just seems like he's gonna get ready to lash out at somebody, and the somebody just seems like maybe it's himself, Morrissey himself here, because he talks about, of course, the whole point, the secret of music. And coming into this, I was thinking, is he gonna break the fourth wall? And yes, he kind of did. And as a Canadian, who knows about a Canadian band? I don't know if anyone else knows about them outside of Canada, but Mariana's Trench, they have a song called Pop Music 101, where they kind of break the fourth wall. It became a hit for them in Canada, at least, anyway. And I was just thinking, are we going to get some of that here? And we did, but at the same point, I would say Morrissey's here is a lot more, I guess, proficient, yeah, but a lot more, it's raised another level. I mean, it's another level higher than what they did. No offense to Mariana's Trench, but because it's very intellectual. Again, Morrissey's using his emotions, his gloominess, which never really gets resolved, which is very, very typical of him to do. But by the end of the track, anyway, he's still in his feels, as they say. He's still in his emotions. He's still gloomy, and that's never going to go away, I guess. But yeah, he uses all that and compares it to a violin, compares it to different instruments, and it would be fun, but also hard to have all the instruments he mentioned on the track. But there already are so many different instruments here. Yeah, so just, and he's at this point in 2020 once again. The Smiths started in 82, I think it was, so almost 40 years up to this point. He's had an intimate relationship with music. He's been in the music business for a long time, so it fits that he can talk about this kind of stuff. He can make these comparisons, because even though he's not, he's always pretty much just been the voice or whatever. He has an intimate relationship with the microphone, I would imagine, and that kind of stuff comes to mind. And anyway, yeah, it's just like, yeah, he can sing about this stuff because, yeah, he's been around it for a long time, and he knows all these instruments. And one thing too, I like the production, even though it's haunting, it's grinding at points, it's commanding, it's screeching, it's edgy. And I say edgy just in the way that the music sounds edgy, not like the lyrics or something are edgy, like a edgelord, I don't know, as they say, like a 17-year-old atheist or something. It's just in the way that the music sounds edgy, it's cutting, it's cunning. I mean, all these words. And but at the same point, I was going to say, with all that, I like how the production, it's just great production work. I mean, I feel like, and I can never pronounce the man's last name really. Joe Ciccarelli, I apologize, but Joe. I feel like, because I've done a lot of songs, and I think this might be the last song off of I Am Not a Dog on a Chain, but I love the production work he would do with Morrissey's tracks on this album especially. And I feel like, to me, this album, and I've probably said it before, but it's probably Morrissey's best effort since 2004's You're the Quarry, whatever it was. But yeah, so anyway, I love the production work here. Just to say that it comes across, again, with all those different grinding sounds, whatever, but it does sound clean in its own way. And I don't know why, but yeah, you can hear everything that's happening. You can hear everything that's going on. And I just love that. And how, again, groovy it is and how hypnotic it is. And by the end of it, again, you're thinking, my God, I got to listen to that again, because I don't know what I just heard. And that's the whole point. When you listen to an 8-minute track, yeah, you're probably going to miss things, and you're going to be like, I got to go back and hear what that was again. But anyway, I love, again, the laughter at points. Love the screeching sound. I mean, again, how the song kind of started off. Love it almost sounded like wind at points. I don't know. There's so many different maybe effects that were being used here. So many different instruments. I know there was like an accordion on this. I know there was that big bass line in the track as well. And I liked how at one point when Morrissey said, he just said the line classical guitar, you got a little lick of some classical guitar. Again, I don't know, I just liked how kind of intimate it was. He was with the instruments here. He was just kind of undressing the instruments in I don't know, does that make sense? I don't know. But he was just very intimate with his relationship with the instruments here, and very much he had to be to do a song like this. But anyway, it's just yeah, I liked it a lot anyway. Like I said, it was one of my favorite songs I've heard from this album. Which is saying a lot, because I've liked a lot of songs from this album, but yeah, there's so much depth to it, and just so much emotion, obviously, and he's talking about connections, and he has to these instruments to make these comparisons. So Anyway, I'm out of breath. Good lord. It's unlike a lot of songs I've heard him do. It's very different, and I have seen, just to talk about too, people I've seen in comments talk about how he went off the rails here. For me, okay, he went off the rails, but I feel like I like when he goes off the rails. I like when he tries different things like this. I like so many different songs that I guess a lot of people don't like. Even not, even excluding Morrissey's work. I mean, I like a lot of songs that other people, I guess, don't really care for by artists, whatever. But I mean, I love Guns N' Roses, My World. I mean, my God. So anyway, I like when it gets a little bit different. I like when it gets fun and groovy like this. But yeah, he went off the rails, but he came back on the rails to me anyway, and he finished off with somehow he finished it nicely anyway. So not nicely in the way that everything's fine, because again, there's still a lot of gloom. But I thought it was a good work. So anyway, let me get into these lyrics now. Holy moly! So with the first verse, I am out of tune. I mean, the first line says everything off the bat. Violin, the state I'm in. Again, just comparing, he's in the state of the violin. And a violin has such a kind of... A violin is it's a smaller instrument. It has a very intimate sound, I guess you would say. Anyway, just comparing himself to that off the bat, I mean, I understand where he's coming from, I guess. I've lived through many Junes, and I mean, if you want to just say, because he's old, an older man at this point. Not that old, but anyway, almost 60 or whatever at this point. I am out of tune. The center hole is overgrown, my goodness. I'm listening face down. Birds sound around like a sudden spell of bells or orchestrated swells. I am out of tune. And again, I guess I'll take a pause here, because this is there's 3 verses all together here, but he's just, giving line after line after line. And it's just like, my goodness gracious, I got to stop somewhere. But, I like, again, how he's talking about all these instruments, and he's saying, and you can kind of visualize, he's laying face down and there's birds chirping all around, but he doesn't give a crap, as they say. He's out of tune. He doesn't feel good. And I don't think I've ever heard him compare himself to being out of tune in this way again. So it's something new. It's something fresh, and I like it a lot. And that's a good word. This whole song just kind of sounded fresh to me, even still, with so many different inspirations from different genres that have come and gone. Anyway, orchestrated swells. A great word to use here is orchestrated. I feel like, this was a very orchestrated song. I am out of tune. Play the flute for love or loot. That's really up to you. And again, there were points, even though I said it's dark and haunting, there were points where he does, it's up to you, where he does kind of give you, I guess, the power or whatever he does. There are points of, I guess, a little bit brighter vocal than other parts. Anyway, how it clings like pinging strings of mandolins, and so many different instruments mentioned again, that pluck to your good luck. And pluck, I mean, yeah, you pluck a mandolin, perhaps. No trombone or glockenspiel could ever feel the way I feel tonight. Again, I guess, he's not comparing himself to those instruments, to a trombone or glockenspiel, which again, very intense sounds, I would think, very loud noises, and that's not what Morrissey is feeling, I would say. But then we go on, the way I feel tonight, and again, I just love this comparison. Bum 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 the drum. I don't know why, but during the song that line made me laugh, because he finally came back in after a long instrumental, and we have bum bum bum. My goodness gracious. Symbols symbolize your mind. I like the wordplay there. I think that you should cry. Classical guitar, and again, like I said, the classical guitar, and then you heard a little guitar in there. Lover knew, oh yes you are. Pan pipes save a life. No angelic flute can F hold a harping soul. Each song ends with a gong. And he's just, I mean, again, there are points, especially when he says each song ends with a gong. I mean, a lot of songs do. And a lot of songs have. And I just like how he's kind of breaking the fourth wall in a way you would say there again. And anyway, but again, talking about, I think you should cry. Is he talking to himself? I think you should cry, get your emotions out finally. Maybe you'll feel better. I mean, that comes to my mind. Pan pipes save a life. And just talking about how these different instruments may save a life, may make you feel better. These instruments he can really compare himself to, except not a trombone or a glockenspiel. Anyway, my goodness gracious. Very, I mean, intimate. I mean, that's a big word too, like I've already mentioned. And the last verse here, a shorter one. Fat bassoon. I have not heard of a bassoon in a long time. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone mention a bassoon in a song. I might have heard a bassoon in a song, but nobody say the word bassoon. Anyway, clears the room. But nothing now can take away my gloom. Triangle, fiddle, Stradivarius. I apologize. I like to cause a fuss. And then the outro, boo boo. But yeah, just talking about, again, the bassoon clears the room, but nothing can take away my gloom. It clears the room of everybody, whatever, but my gloom and me are still there. And then the triangle, again, a very fragile instrument I think about. And maybe he, again, comparing himself to that. And then, yeah, again, the whole fiddle, and then I'd like to cause a fuss, boo-boo. And a triangle and a fiddle, I mean, again, smaller instruments, and that's how he's feeling, small. I mean, I don't know, I'm making these assertions, I guess, but that's what comes to my mind anyway. And, yeah, so... I mean, attracted at everything. I mean, I did not dislike it at all. I mean, again, I've seen some people be on the fence about it, which I understand because it's so different and it's so weird in its own way. It's strange in its own way, but I like it a lot. I like its appeal. I like its freshness, I guess you would say, of something different that Morrissey wasn't really doing at this time. And even though there are different tracks that are different from that Morrissey has done that I've reacted to, but anyway, if that made any sense, he's done different songs like this before, but this song just might be the most different. So anyway, I guess that's all I gotta say. This video is long enough at this point, so thanks for watching. Hopefully that's clear as mud. Again, there's so many different things I'd like to say better, I guess, and clear my head. But again, I first listen, I'm just taken aback, and I'm just thinking, what the fuck did I just hear? So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. One more time, thanks to whoever runs Morrissey Central. I don't think it's Morrissey himself. I've heard different people tell me who it is, Morrissey's nephew or something, but I know Morrissey knows about it and whatever. He contributes to it every now and then, I believe. But anyway, it's just fun that somebody knows about me anyway over there. So thanks for watching again. Thanks for all the support, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.